Have you ever wondered what really makes you, well, you? Is it all in your DNA, something you got from your parents? Or maybe it's that built-in programming we call instinct? Or is it just everything you've ever been through, all your experiences? Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on this and really figure out what shapes us. All right, here's how we're going to break it down. First, we'll talk about our genetic code, what we inherit. Then we'll get into those built-in instincts. After that, we'll look at all the stuff we learn from life. And then, the fun part, we'll see how it all fits together. Ready? Let's go. Okay, let's start at the very beginning, with our foundation, the genetic code. This is the stuff that's literally passed down from our parents to us. So what exactly is an inherited trait? Well, think of it as any feature that's locked into your genes. It gets handed down from your parents through their DNA. That means you're born with it, no questions asked. It's like the biological blueprint you get on day one. And you see this stuff all over the place. I mean, think about yourself, your eye color, your hair color, even little things like whether your earlobes are attached or if you can do that tongue rolling trick. You didn't practice that, right? Nope. That was all decided by your genes before you were even born. Okay, so physical traits make sense. But what about the way we act? Are our behaviors also hardwired into our DNA? That's a great question, and it leads us right into our next big topic. So let's talk about that built-in stuff. It's our innate programming, but you probably know it better as instinct. Seriously, just think of it as the software that comes pre-installed on your hardware from day one. So, an instinct is basically a complex behavior pattern that you're just born with. It's not something you're taught. It's not something you figure out through trial and error. It's just there, genetically baked in, no practice needed, you just do it. I mean, look at a spider. It's a perfect example. Spiders don't take classes on web design, right? They just hatch and boom, they know exactly how to build this incredibly intricate, perfect web. That right there is pure instinct. Or how about this? A baby sea turtle. The second it breaks out of its shell, it has one mission: get to the ocean. Nobody's there with a map. It's this powerful, built-in survival instinct pointing it toward the light on the horizon. It's the same with birds building nests. A robin isn't just winging it, trying to figure out what works. Nope. The instructions for building a perfect robin's nest are inherited instinct. Scientists have a cool name for this: a fixed action pattern. It just means they're programmed to do it the same way every single time. And once you start looking, you see these instincts everywhere. Birds know when to fly south for the winter. Beavers are master dam builders. Even human babies have them, that reflex to breathe or to suckle. Totally instinct. And some of them are just wild. Get this, ringtail lemurs have stink fights to settle arguments. You can't make this stuff up. All right, so we've got the stuff we're born with, our physical traits and our instincts. But that can't be the whole story, right? What about everything else we do? Well, that brings us to the other side of the coin, the things we pick up from life. So this really lays it out simply. You've got innate on one side. That's the stuff that's hardwired from birth. And on the other, you have acquired, everything you develop through experience. An acquired trait, or learned one, is basically anything you weren't born with. It's a skill or a behavior you pick up from the world around you. You get it by watching, by practicing, by just living. The key thing here, it is absolutely not in your DNA. And this is where we humans really shine. Think about it. A lion cub has to watch its mom to learn how to hunt. You train your dog to sit. And for us, just about every skill we have is learned. Reading, writing, playing a sport, riding a bike, none of that is inherited. It's all acquired. Okay, we've seen all the individual pieces. Now, let's put them side by side. This is where you'll really see how it all connects. This chart makes it super clear. So, look at the source. For inherited traits and instincts, it all comes from your genes, your DNA. But for acquired behaviors, that's all about your environment. Now, check out heritability. Can you pass it on? Well, you can pass on your eye color, for sure, but you can't pass on knowing how to speak French. Your kids have to learn that all on their own. And finally, flexibility. The genetic stuff is pretty set in stone, rigid. But the stuff we learn, that's super flexible and we can change it up. But wait, there's a twist. Because in the real world, it's almost never just one or the other. So for our last section, let's look at how nature and nurture are always talking to each other. Yeah, so that line between what's genetic and what's learned, it's not a brick wall. It's more like a dance. Your genes and your environment are constantly interacting, constantly shaping one another. So how does this dance actually work? Well, it's fascinating. For one, Your environment can totally affect your genes. For example, your DNA might say you have the potential to be tall, but your nutrition, that's the environment, plays a huge role in whether you actually reach that height. And learning can tweak our instincts. A bird has that built-in urge to make a nest, right? But it learns to adapt based on what materials are lying around. And it even works the other way. Your genes can influence how easily you learn things. Some people might just be genetically wired to pick up languages or music a little faster than others. I love this quote because it just nails it. We don't inherit our traits, we inherit our genes. Think about that. You get the blueprint, the raw code, but you don't get the finished house. The house itself, who you actually become, is built day by day through that constant conversation between your genes and the world around you. So that brings it all back to you. Think about your own life for a second. Your skills, your hobbies, the things you love. Can you draw a clear line and say, this is where my genetic blueprint ends, and this is where my life experience begins? It's tough, right? Maybe even impossible. And really, that's the whole point. That messy, beautiful overlap is what makes every single one of us completely and totally unique.